get that notification. Everything seems to be kind of gelling. It's good to have gelling. I'm getting some excitement going on this Trending Thursday. Good morning, morning, everyone. It is Thursday. It's Trending Thursday. This is Carol, so AKA Naughty Boss, live with
TwoSistas. Hey, everyone. Good morning. This is Janice, AKA Wellness Diva 5.0 with a new border.
I love that.
I'm really getting into this border thing. Still trying to figure out the whole border thing. And
I match the border.
yeah, that's right. And there is an app for that. There's actually apps within Zoom. I'm just trying to figure that all of that out. So that's kind of in the tech world, what is trending for me. But we also know that there are many trending topics going on.
There are. I mean, you know, I love, that's one thing with social media I absolutely love, is that you can find out what's going on in the world. You can find out gadgets. And in the midst of that, you know, what's trending is sometimes you find yourself trending, sometimes good, sometimes not so good. Opinions. A lot of people have opinions, don't you think?
Well, absolutely, Carol Sue. Opinions are typically not only fact-based, but opinion-based, research-based. And if you are going to, as we often say, that we are postured in how we feel about certain topics, well, then by golly, we better have the goods to back that up. Now, there are always going to be differences of opinions. And I think in many ways that is what is trending, that there are differences of opinions. And whenever I am conflicted, in other words, if somebody else has a different opinion than me, I try to see it from their point of view and step in their shoes, like, okay, why do they feel that way? What are they basing their opinion on? Because I want to understand, I want to have an intelligent debate back and forth. That's not always possible, because the one question whenever I am conflicted, when I'm trying to learn more or understand somebody's point of view, is to ask the question, do you know what specifically it is that brought you to that point? Or is there maybe somebody out there that has influenced you? Like, who was that person? I want to know so that I can understand where that person is coming from, to have a healthy debate, whether it's a difference of opinion, which typically it usually is. But I can never seem, which this puzzles me, I can never really seem to have somebody open up to me on why they feel that way. For instance, why would somebody, for instance, you know, obviously it's the start of school, send their child to school, knowing that they're going to be in a mask all day? Why would somebody want to homeschool their children? There's pros and cons with everything. And that probably opens up a wide range topic discussion, especially with all of the school board meetings going on these days.
It does. And you know what I also find trending, besides obviously what we know what's going on in our communities, what's going on with the school systems, is words. I mean, you're typically gonna find words that are used in such a way that replace just being either confident or having that adult conversation. And the word of the day that has been popping up everywhere is the word bully. You know the word bully? So a lot of people use the word bully as not in the actual correct definition of what a bully is. While I'm actually chatting, can you look up to see what the word bully actually means? So
Sure.
We have the correct definition, because again, you know, everything's up for interpretation, opinion, based analogies on what a word means is usually opinion based. Sometimes people use it correctly. I do not think someone having a debate, even if it gets a little passionate, because I don't consider that bullying. I think bullying more, attacking someone's integrity, bullying them on their choice of sexuality, could be maybe they're not like the popular. I mean, in the old days, it was just like who was popular, who wasn't, kind of a thing. That would be, and they went after like maybe the kid that didn't have confidence, or they thought looked different, or that maybe act different, or that weren't, wearing the popular clothes. And then initially bullying, was more of an emotional aspect to it, making someone feel less than. So what is the actual definition of bullying?
Okay, so this is the actual definition. So in case there are any fact checkers out there, okay, I am reading this directly from Meriam Webster. You remember that book that everybody used to have? And I know that I probably have 2 or 3 of them. Definition of bully, entry 1 of 4. So I'm going to read the first entry. And of course, a pop-up has to pop up. What the heck? Freaking ads. Okay. Under entry 1, subparagraph a blustering, browbeating person, especially one who is habitually cruel, insulting, or threatening to others who are weaker, smaller, or in some way vulnerable, tormented by the neighborhood bully. They use that as an example.
Right.
Definition B, it says pimp. I'm just not even going to go into that definition. I don't know why that's there.
Maybe that might be a fun one to add some humor to it.
Let me click on it to see what it actually says about that.
But I like already the very first definition, because that's how I interpret a bully, like someone that's just so cruel to somebody that has no regard for another human being, almost vile to a certain degree. That's right. What I consider a bully. We keep going.
Okay, so the pimp part of it, exactly what I thought. A criminal who is associated with, usually exerts control over, and lives off the earnings of one or more prostitutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that was definition.
I would never have thought that piece, but.
So that was entry number 1. Entry number 2, a hired ruffian. Entry 3, archaic. Sweetheart. Entry A. Entry B, a fine chap.
So there's probably, I'm assuming those kinds of definitions probably are more of a slang term, maybe in another country. I mean, and I could be wrong. That's how I'm interpreting it.
That's kind of how I'm looking at it really quick. And it also defines bully in the sense of a verb, an adjective, and a noun.
Right, because a bully could be aggressive, going after someone's personal space with their body language, maybe in kind of like a very aggressive form. I would classify that as a bully. I would classify someone that's tormenting someone on who they are as a person. That would be bullying. So I think I was pretty on point with how I interpreted it. So to be honest about this, obviously many people know that we fight. We talk about different topics, fighting for children's rights within a district, and we are kind of our force is that, or our beliefs is, we don't want children being used for a bias for political reasons, for a political agenda, to create more of a socialism type atmosphere. And I think that they are. We're also fighting for the children's rights on getting a good quality education, to include curriculum that parents know what their child is being taught, and what the actual curriculum is. So I received a message. There was a school committee met last night. I always talk about what's going on locally with all the different school committees. So there was a school committee last night, meeting last night in Dudley Charlton Regional District, and that was one of the, where my grandparents go to. My grandchildren go to school. So I'm a stakeholder. I frequently attend the meetings when I can. I ask questions. I'm very passionate about not only making sure that my grandchildren are having that same experience that my children had because they're going to the same school system, but also helping other children that maybe don't have a voice, because I really truly believe children do not have a voice in what is going on in the world regarding, let's face it, regarding masks, regarding vaccinations, curriculum, talking about CRT, CES, which is comprehensive sex education, as well as a whole gamut of things. So last night I received a message from someone who was upset because I had a conversation unbeknownst to, when you're working on these things and you're working on surveys and petitions, when you're a part of a larger conglomerate, a larger group, you kind of share the load of getting out kind of administrative things. So the group that I'm involved with wanted to do a survey, and this was back in, I want to say, the end of June, beginning of July, wanted to do a survey, making sure that parents kind of understood what CRT was, did they agree with it, it was just this general survey. So, collectively, we've got multiple people trying to spread the word within our group, and then obviously people that on social media that it would pertain to within that district. So, we are like copy and pasting, sending this message out to individuals that are either part of the group. Now, apparently there was someone part of the group that I didn't even realize was part of the group, and she was on my list of sending out messages to. So I didn't realize. After a while, you're just sending it. You're trying to be the masses and get the word out, right? So I'm not even looking half the time who it's going to. And one message went to someone that we later got into an adult conversation on, what the actual survey was about. This person did not agree with it. Really felt that she didn't mind doing surveys from the actual district, but did not want to be connected or associated with any particular group, in particular this particular group. And I didn't even realize that this person was even part of the group. Like I said, you copy and pasting. So being that she's in the educational system, I asked her a few questions. I did know from a mutual person that she might have or does have different views on it. So I kind of basically picked her brain in a kind of an adult conversation. And then I also asked her if she knew about this particular book, that this was going, the book happened to do with young girls transgendering at a very, very young age, talking about the emotional connection to it or whatever. So we chatted about that. End of the day, end of the story, it was a polite messaging. We went back and forth a little bit. She did not want to be associated with the group. She wanted to make sure that her name was not attached to anything. She didn't agree with the group's mantra, and that was fine. I said, no worries. From my perspective, I respect your input, whatever. Even though adults can disagree, that's okay. We're not all the same. Just like when we talk about our gut health or our health and wellness journey, we're not all the same, right? We all look different. Our insights are different. Well, that goes with corresponding. We might have different opinions, and that's okay. We're not the same. So I received this message from someone she's attached to last night, and was giving accolades to the school committee meeting. It was a meeting that I was not in attendance. And basically, I'll paraphrase it. She went on to say that I was a bully, that I have an agenda, and that everyone else thinks I'm a bully. She said it was not up for debate. She asked if she could delete, or no, if she didn't like me connecting. Now, I have not heard from her in a few months. That I could delete her from social media. It just went on to this, it's very long, exaggerated. And then she brought up, you know, that you went after this person. And I could have gone in there and I could have explained, well, wait a minute, you know, from my perspective, it was an adult conversation. There were areas where we didn't agree, but I certainly didn't attack this person. You know, she gave me some good insight as to why she feels the way that she does. She asked not to be associated with this group. And like I said, at the time, I didn't even realize she was in part of that group because it was someone that I didn't add to the group, but somebody else did. So so I could have gone that. I could have gone into the explanation route. And I thought to myself, well, she's calling me a bully. She says I have an agenda, you know, so I guess from my perspective, if a cause of helping children with no voice and making sure that they are getting a good education without being used as tools, as being used as, you know, pawns in a political special interest, if a cause is an agenda, I guess you could paraphrase it like that. I don't know. I'm going to ask your opinion about that in a second. You know, I guess that can be considered an agenda. I consider it a cause and a worthy one. I don't think having a conversation and or even presenting in a passionate way is bullying. I have never attacked someone for their character. I've never, you know, with anger gone out aggressively to somebody. I've never harassed anyone, even though, you know, sometimes it gets heated. So my point being of the word bully and what it truly means, somehow in society, and I don't know where this changed, we've lost the definition of what something means. And why I find that is important to understand, because you actually do a disservice to what the word means. You're doing a disservice by calling someone like me. I am not a bully. I'm an easygoing person. Am I passionate about causes, especially when it comes to children? Absolutely. I don't go, you know, in a public forum and start swearing and yelling and screaming at people. Do I get loud with my passion? Because I'm touching on sensitive issues, but I always do it in a respectful manner. I don't physically go into someone's space. You know, I can go a step further to say that I was actually instrumental in trying to be a mediator to calm people down. I do watch, you know, my articulation. I make sure that I'm not swearing in public. So I don't like harass people on who they are as a person. I don't attack people in an aggressive manner. And that's what so I think for that person to call me a bully is actually doing a disservice to those that truly are being bullied, because there are people that are being bullied, children and adults, for who they are as a person, maybe what they look like, whatever the reason may be. But sadly, so how I responded. So I'm going to share how I responded, because I could have gone into another direction, but I chose to not do that, because someone that's calling me a bully, the actual message wasn't polite. It was actually very hateful. It was assuming. It was very opinionated. And I don't mind someone messaging me that doesn't agree with something that I'm doing, or maybe the cause that I'm working on. But I always think it's best, at least from my perspective, this is my perspective, I'd rather ask the person, hey, I heard this happen. Just want to get your take on it. Did I misunderstand the person? You know, how we always talk about life and all of that has two coins, there's two sides. So I really, you know, that was not the opportunity that was afforded me. I'm still not offended. I want to be clear on that, because maybe this will get back to that person, and, you know, maybe I'll get another nasty message, or maybe at that point she will, you know, maybe not, you know, respond, and or maybe she might have already, actually, I'm looking, here we go. She might like decide to defriend me, and that's, again, her stance. So I just said, thank you for expressing yourself and how you feel. There would be no point to interject on your opinion of me or for who or what I speak on behalf of, which are many, as you are not interested. Because she wasn't interested in asking me questions. She was just in attack mode. Funny, she's calling me a bully, but this is how she responded to me. So whatever. But so then I ended it. But what I will say is I appreciate your honesty. So for that, I respect. And that's how I left it. For me, even if it was a family member, good friend, whatever it may be, I always say don't do a disservice to a word when it doesn't apply. If you didn't agree with me having this message, maybe you should have found out first how it kind of initiated before you went in attack mode, especially when I haven't heard from this person in a few months. So now I'm going to kind of turn it over to you to kind of get your take. I love it. Like even if we got a viewer that's got an opinion, but I felt I handled it correctly, but I don't agree with how the word bully is being used.
Well, I have to agree with you on that count. And again, I just want to go to say that this is the beauty of being an American, to have the freedom and liberties to express yourself. Now, of course, we can get into the further discussion of how this person expressed themselves, but that's her right. That is her privilege. And we totally honor and respect that.
Right.
What I am having maybe a problem with is how the word bully was used. And if an agenda for representing for the good of children is why you're being a bully, if according to maybe what this person is saying, that is, in my opinion, effed up. Okay. Now, I don't care if my opinion gets back or is heard. I don't. This is a public forum. We're doing this live video. It's going to be uploaded to our podcast channel, to our YouTube channel, and to our Rumble account. I don't have a problem with voicing my opinion. And again, I just want to say we honor and respect people's opinions. Might not always agree with them. And I believe I did say on one episode, I'm not sure which one, that there's one thing I won't debate. I just won't. And I'm not going to get into that. But to specifically answer your question, for every action, there is a reaction. And the tone and nature of that person expected a much bigger reaction.
Well, I don't know that. I mean, I guess that could.
Well, that's what my gut is telling me. That's kind of my take on
it. That could be an assumption, but I understand where you.
Yes, it definitely can be an assumption. Now, what will be interesting to me is if this person, male or female, we're not going to say, if this person reacts to that. I think will definitely be a telltale sign. I don't think that this person will do that.
No, I don't either.
But if you had that much animosity and how that person's reaction was to this message going out, like if I felt that, I always have to take a step back and say, is it worth my time and energy that you work yourself up so much? Now that is cemented in words. Her thoughts, expressions are expressed in words. That's something that you can never take back. And maybe at some point, this person may understand the full ramifications of where you were coming from. But you can't have a debate. You can't have a factual conversation without an agenda. So that brings me back to bully. I mean, the definition of bully, as I read from, okay, fact checkers from Meriam Webster, right online.
Right.
I just want to clarify that. I think they should add keyboard bullies. We've often talked about that because you're hiding behind the facade of your keyboard.
Right.
So,
And I'm an open book. I mean, and this person knows my telephone number, you know, we've been in each other's lives for many, many years. You know, he could have picked up the phone and he could have said, you know, A, B, or C, and we could have had that dialogue. And maybe this could have been avoided. And I think that's part of the problem with messaging as well. We often talk about that. I think a lot of people talk about that when sometimes within messaging, you don't hear the person's voice. You don't really get a feel for where they're coming. Sometimes a phrase or a sentence is misconstrued for something else, or it comes out the wrong way. We're all human, we're flawed. So I think it would have been better if that person actually picked up the phone and we had that conversation. I am, like I said, I've always been an open book. I don't mind chatting with people that think differently than me or have a different opinion of me. I'm very respectful of those. I would never, ever classify myself. I don't even, there's not one thing about being a bully that I'm even connected to. And, you know, I believe the person you called me bully, you know, at least 3 times, but then in addition, you know, made a general statement that many people think I'm a bully. So of those of you that are out there, because, you know, like I said, I'm very postured in if you want to use the word agenda versus a cause, I don't have an issue with that per se. I do think fighting for children to have a good education with parental kind of stamp of approval, a parent or guardian or stakeholder understanding and knowing what their children are being taught. They're gone from your home for 6+ hours sometimes. I think it's okay to question those that, you know, are in control of our children's education. It's okay to question if it appears to be some sort of political or a special interest with those that are present to manipulate something. It's okay to question those things. And you might not always agree with them, but I feel bad for those that are truly bullied, that someone like me is being attacked. And, you know, I would say it was kind of a verbal attack, that I'm a bully. That does a disservice to the person that's really bullied, because part of the other receiving end of being a bully, you're attacking somebody that may not even be able to be postured enough to stand up for themselves. They may not be able, maybe they don't have the confidence or the gumption to say, like, stop what you're doing, it's not right. I am not offended by this message. I was not taken aback by it. I think it warranted some clarification. And I almost got a little giggle out of someone calling me a bully. I mean, the person called me a bully several times and said, lots of people think I'm a bully. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't think I follow the definition. I'm always accountable. If, you know, someone felt offended, I would be the first to say, oh, was not my intent. I think I'm pretty good about owning up. If I stuck my foot into my mouth, I've done that. We've talked about that all the time. You know, as human beings, sometimes that happens and we apologize. But I wouldn't classify myself as a bully. I'm very confident in that. I don't think I fall in that category.
No, I would say definitely not.
You're just saying that because you're my sissy. I mean, I felt
Well,
2-year-old now.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, if I'm having hair issues, obviously my comb is like, it goes down and it's
kind of like the whole swirly thing.
well, thank you.
You look real.
Well, thank you. And by the way, I did do the lip thing with the app. You can do like a lip color. So if you forget to put on lipstick, I mean, I did put a little chapstick on because my lips were dry, but
that's an app on your lips right now?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
The app follows your mouth? I'm confused.
Yes.
Oh my God, she's so good with this technical stuff.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
You're regal and apparently I'm a bully.
A regal bully. Okay, well, on that note, well, as I was saying, the comb on my hair, because I always wear my hair up like pretty much 99% of the time, but it was starting to slide down and then it like pulls my hair and then it really hurts. So that's why I was doing that. But okay, so Trending Thursday, I could talk forever about this topic. Great conversation as always. I want to shift the conversation just a little bit and chat about my son, Ryan. God throws at us different things that pop up. And at the time when things happen, we always question why it happens. Yeah. And although I am still trying to discover that why and what that means for me as Ryan's mom, I have to say that from where he was to where he is today, in my opinion, with his progress is miraculous. So I want to thank everyone for the continued messages, the love and prayers. And as his mom, to thank the over 460 people who so graciously, generously donated to Ryan's GoFundMe page. My son does not have any health insurance, and he's also looking at a second operation. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank each and every one of you. Thank you.
Oh, it's so awesome to see the goodness of the world. And, in the scheme of things, when we're talking about all these other different kind of sidebar notes of what's going on in our life, things that are important are always stem from being kind to other people. Yeah, you make mistakes, but if you try to put your best foot forward, when you find someone's in need and you pick up the bat swinging, with positivity and contribute, no amount is too small, and really help those in need. That's what being proactive and being positive and kind to other people is, knowing that when someone's down on their luck, whether it be from an accident such as Ryan's, or whether, a misstep or an unfortunate situation happened that was not predicted. Isn't it nice to know that we have community? And when I talk about community, I talk about within, it's not limited to, a certain area. When I talk about community, I really am talking about the human race, that we come together for those in need, when they're down on their luck, when they're desperate, when they really need that help. And it's hard to ask for help. It's hard to say, I should have done this, but I didn't. And this is the consequence now. And this is what I'm dealing with. And, a medical issue comes up and then you find out you thought you had insurance and you didn't. These are all things that, happen to many people. So when people rally for the goodness of helping somebody else, that is, will spark and will overshine the stupid stuff. Like, what we talked about earlier, the scheme of things, that stupid stuff. Our focus is shifted here. And when you have positive things like that going on, it makes all the other junky stuff, the stupid stuff, kind of just right off your shoulder, because you realize time is precious. You realize that life is precious. And what better way to live your life by helping other people.
And I just want to read one more thing. Ryan is consumed with such thankfulness in his heart and overwhelmed at the generosity, and actually said to me a couple times, Mama, I'm dumbfounded. But he did write a little thank you. And I know that this came from his heart. And sometimes, when somebody wants to express their gratitude, they're not sure how to do it. And I thought that this was so typical of people that, that know my son. So I just wanted to read it. He posted this yesterday on the GoFundMe page. The goal has been reached. And I want to personally thank everyone for the support. Excuse me. Further donations will be disabled at some point today. If there are surplus funds, they'll be redistributed to, after the second surgery, to another individual or organization in need. Love, from D.
Yeah, you want to explain what D is? I love it.
Well, it could be, right. So it could be, Ryan is, for many years, has been known as Ryan from DeLand. So the D could mean from DeLand, or at one point, I think on Facebook now, he's now known as Al Dente.
Al Dente.
So I'm not sure if it's Ryan from
Excellent cook.
Right. I'm not sure if D is from Al Dente or Ryan from DeLand, but that's just so Ryan. So Jerry and I are just like overwhelmed. So thank you to everyone. You've eased a burden for our son. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and from his stepmom, Susan, and Gary. We all thank you. And Gary, obviously my husband, his stepdad. So thank you all so much. This has been a great Trending Thursday. And on that note, my name is Janice, AKA Wellness Diva 5.0, looking rather regal, I guess, with the fake lip thing.
No, I want that because I can never put it on right. So the fact that I can actually have it on and not really have it on, I'm pretty psyched about that.
Yeah, I'll have to show you after we get off the live. And I'm with two
sisters, and this is Carol Sue, AKA Naughty Boss. Fired up today on this Trending Thursday. Kindness, the bottom line, kindness. And use words with their true definition, because we never want to take a word and lessen it for what it actually really means, because that's a disservice to those that it would apply to. That is the kind of the sentiment today. And of course, kindness, goodness, and paying it forward always. We will see you tomorrow for a fantabulous Friday. You guys have a great day. Chat soon.
Bye, everyone.